Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for our Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. Let's go straight into the second scenario, continuing from last time. Following a short wait to enable the failed train to be moved into Appleby sidings, we are now clear to proceed on the next part of the route learner, this time going as far as Dent, where there is a small booked wait. Let's go. Welcome back, driver. The service which had failed up ahead has now had temporary repairs and been moved forward to Appleby and placed in the adjacent sidings in order to get traffic running. We can now proceed. Which means we're going to turn our headlights back on. We're going to be on our way. Let's do that. Directly ahead is the first speed reduction on the route where the line speed drops to 30 miles per hour. In place for over 40 years, the speed restriction is due to the unstable ground of the surrounding landscape due to mining at the local gypsum works. Makes sense. Into the cab we go. And let's bring our HUD back up because I forgot to do that. So we are on the move. Once again, we have no timings to work with. We're just doing a nice casual drive today. One note I want to make in response to last time, and I'm going to assume this is legit, even though today is April 1st as I'm recording and as you're seeing this. I'm going to be serious because I tend to participate in the foolery, but not in making a lot of foolery myself unless I tag on to someone else's. You see this station right here, Armothwaite. Apparently I said last time the station correctly, and I hope I'm saying it correctly this time. Armerthwalt or something like that is what I believe I was told. Armerthwalt. I believe what I've been told is that Armerthwalt is the correct way to say that. Again, noting it is April 1st, that person could be making fun of the whole thing himself. I don't know. I'm going to trust it's correct because I was seriously asking for advice on any wrong names. So hopefully that was being true. But Armerthwalt is apparently the correct way to say that. If I do make any further mistakes on any of these names, please go ahead and correct me as we go. Just leave a comment in the comment section. I will get to completely ignoring them as time permits. I have been holding off doing this recording for a bit today because there have been some thunderstorms going through. I didn't want the quality of the recording impacted by continual loud booming noises. So we are coming to the end of the 30 mile per hour section here. We're going to be going into a 60 again in just a moment. Green signal. Going to begin a slow speed increase here to get ourselves back up to 30 so we can continue accelerating up to 60. I'm now in the 60s, so let's go ahead and move our throttle all the way up, and away we go. Up ahead is the now closed station of Long Martin, which, despite being considered, wasn't reopened along with many other stations in 1986. So this remains a disused station, was not reopened. Now you might argue that why can't the station just be reopened? That looks like an old engine shed or something. You might argue why can't the station just be reopened and people required to buy tickets from a ticket machine and board there. I think it's more an issue that the train that was seen as not a viable stop for trains. There weren't enough people using it, I guess, at the time, and they must decide there wasn't going to be enough people using it even now. So, as a result of that, I think that's part of the reason why that station remains closed. Now, today, with the growing population of the world, I don't know whether there would be more people using that station today, but there's also a higher cost to running trains today, just like anything else. So, it would have to, they'd have to weigh the cost of running the train and making the stops there against the potential profit. And my guess is that the station will probably remain closed based on that, because the costs keep going up and it would just cost more to make the stop all the time. It'd be more convenient for customers. You might get a few more customers out of it, but will that outweigh the cost of making the extra stop and putting extra delays in any timetables? I don't know. I haven't studied it. I'm not an expert on that. You might think it's just easy to make a stop and be convenient for people, but there is that extra couple minutes delay that it adds to the timetable for the rest of the journey, and that means someone could decide on the long journey, you know what, I can't make that anymore. It's shorter to drive by car. I'm going to drive instead, and they lose a customer. So there is a fine line they have to consider when planning services. I seem to be stalled on a 1 in 121 gradient at 53.5 miles per hour. I'm not increasing beyond that right now. We're going to keep an eye on that just in case we suddenly get a surge forward when we come off this uphill coming up. Ooh, a little leg in this area, unfortunately. Just noticed that. We continue to have green signals. We have 3 in very close succession, so in theory you could have a green, yellow, red here. So kind of a scary spot to be here if you know there could be a delay in this area. I'm now up to 56 miles per hour. Let's ease the throttle off because we're inside the 5-mile margin of error. In fact, I'm now at 59 miles per hour, so I'm going to take the throttle completely off and hope I don't get punched forward. We are now approaching the picturesque location of Abbey, home of the famous Appleby Horse Fair. In 1970, following the withdrawal of local stopping trains and the resulting closure of many local stations, Appleby, along with Settle, were the only 2 to remain open. Didn't really get a good look at it, so we'll do that again from the reverse here. This is the Appleby area, apparently, right here. You can see, I think that's a Class 158 over there in the on the loop there. A nice area of neighborhood over here as well. Here's Appleby Station itself, I believe. Now south of Appleby, we begin the small drop. Let's get back in the cab. We begin the small drop down to Ormside before starting one of the many 1 in 100 climbs up the summit at Ice Gill. As we are hauling empty wagons, we should not have a problem, but in days gone by, many heavily laden trains have fallen victim to the relentless climb, especially in poor weather. Ice Gill is going to be one of those names that I keep getting wrong, just because that I and the L look similar in this font. So I've applied a little bit of throttle again to get ourselves back up to 60 for the 1 in 100 climb. So hopefully we don't lose too much speed on the uphill. Because I was already having trouble on a less steep climb. So yeah, this is slightly more challenging than you would expect. Here comes more text. Now approaching the first 1 in 100 climb. I knew that was what it was going to be. We first see Ormside Viaduct, closely followed by what is left of Ormside Station, another casualty of the 1950s. This is the Ormside Viaduct. So let's get a bit of a view. Well, we lost the view there. We'll come back to that view later. for other potential viaducts. Oh, speeding almost. Let's not speed. We're on the 100 climb now, so I think I can go ahead and apply throttle fully at this time. In fact, we are losing speed on this climb, it looks like. Nope, now we're gaining. We're managing this one okay. Right now I have 50% throttle and I'm actually right around the 60 limit. And it seems I can increase beyond that and I will get my speed back if I need it. So we are okay for the time being. Maybe because part of our train was still on the downhill or the flat ground behind us. Maybe it won't work as well now. Nope, I am increasing. We're okay. So we are at our speed limit. Let's go ahead and just keep the throttle slightly off for a moment. Now, I did not grab my iPad before recording, so I don't have the name of the tunnel that we're in right now on hand right now. Actually, I just found that my phone is next to me, so I'll use my phone instead. I will try and get you that information as we continue along here. I can now report that tunnel we went through was the Helm Tunnel. H-E-L-M, the Helm Tunnel. We're going to be eventually making a right-hand turn. That turn will take us to the closed station of Crosby Garrett. That is what I am seeing here. Looks like we're coming a little more shallow now. We're still on an uphill, but we're not as bad. So my speed did start increasing again there. I'm pulling my throttle off as a result. Right now using minimal throttle just to maintain speed. So there's top marker number 5. How many top markers do we have on this scenario? We have 11, and it looks like Dent is not a top marker final stop. It's just a stop at Dent, which is fantastic. Which reminds me, how far away is that? We are 17 3/4 miles away from Dent. Which means if we continue this 60 mile per hour travel, we'll be there in about 17 minutes. 18 minutes. There you go. Looks like we have a slight left here as well as we approach Crosby Garrett. Some roads coming from underneath. That's very nice. Old style roads, so it's not as nice as it could be now, but still very nice to see that kind of architecture in here. We are just about to pass the former site of Crosby Garrett Station, yet another casualty of the 1950s. Just driving this modern locomotive with over 3,000 horsepower, it's hard to imagine the steam services having to make so many stops at these smaller halts before trying to get going again on the steep inclines. No kidding. We're now descending into the Crosby Garrett, well, not really descending, ascending into the Crosby Garrett tunnel. We're holding at 59 miles per hour, which is just fine to me. No issues. Now the name is hidden behind the route itself on my map. I think this is the Speardale Viaduct that's coming up. We might have actually just crossed it. That might have been it back there. I see no top marker for it. We're back on a 1 in 100, so I'm going to go ahead and put my throttle back up to 100% itself for a moment as we approach our next marker. So I have a feeling the station we're going to be seeing next is Kirkby Stephen. I'm pretty sure it's not pronounced Stephen. I see enough Stevens in North America. We have a green signal, so if I'm right, this is Kirkby Stephen. Of course, named after the comic Stephen Colbert, maybe. I don't know where the Kirkby comes from. We're probably going to get actual information about that. I made up the Colbert part, obviously. Now riding the curve, yep, we approach that station. With buildings recently restored by the Sutherland Carlisle Railway Trust, Kirkby Stephen has seen a recent small but welcome rise in passenger usage. And this is Kirkby Stephen Station. Did I just see a person on the track? Did I see that? Take another look here to verify. No, that's my imagination, apparently. I have a vivid imagination I saw a person on the track there. I don't know why I thought I saw that. There's a Kirkby Stephen signal box and some other building probably not related to the railway. Now we're getting some speed back. I lost too much on the uphill, so I had to fight to maintain what I had. We're still on a 1 in 100, so we are actually still going to have some trouble here. That would be a 158. We're coming up on the Burkett Tunnel. There seems to be no marker about this tunnel. The next open station I see on the line is Garsdale, some way after the Burkett Tunnel. I'm not sure exactly if there's any markers before Garsdale for some other closed section that I didn't see, but we're going to find out as we go here. This is the Burkett Tunnel. The next marker is a little less than 4 miles away here. That, I believe, would be where Garrett is. So I think that is Garrett. For those of you who might be curious as to what Tut marker means, I think it means tutorial. My first thought was King Tut, but of course that would be a little foolish to say, wouldn't it? Hence I am now a fool. Had a little leg as the AWS went off there. Okay, we are getting off the major uphill, so we're going to get our speed back up to 60. We're going to come to a major uphill again, most likely. Oh, that's going up way too fast. Let's just cut the throttle right off there for a moment. That just shot up all of a sudden. We're coming to another big uphill, so I'm going to have to put the speed on again in a moment, the throttle up. In fact, we're on a 1 in 97 now. This is not a 1 in 100. This is a 1 in 97. Alrighty. I'm actually still gaining a lot of speed because my entire train is not on the uphill yet. So I have to watch my throttle intake here. We're in about the neighborhood of speed I want to be in right now. Right at 60 miles per hour. Just want to note again, there will be a third part to this scenario coming up. That third part will be taking place on the same route from Dent to, I believe, to Settle Junction, or at least to Settle itself, if not all the way to Settle Junction. So we're going to finish this tutorial drive, and we're going to see the rest of the route. So at the end of that next video, we're going to have seen the entire route. I'm down now to 59 miles per hour. We should now be coming up on Garsdale in about half a mile based on that top marker, so that would have to be Garsdale. We're going to have a sharp right turn, I believe, going into that. We're on a little left before that right, so the right is right after this. Sounds right, doesn't it? Right. Yeah. I think we're getting the note about Garsdale before we even take that right. Sounds about right. After what in the past has been a daunting and relentless climb, often known as the Long Drag by engine men, we now approach Ice Gill Summit, the highest point on the Cell to Carlisle line at 1,169 feet. View the train from afar. What a desolate area. Is there really no vegetation here in real life? There's a nice river there. That's a nice little site there, that nice little river. But is there really a lack of vegetation up here? Is this actually correct? Let's get back in the cab and let's worry about driving our train, shall we? Little historical note about this route. I remember that the Cell to Carlisle line was conceived as a competition with another line who basically was like, no, you can't use our line. It's our line. Stay off our line. Even though it was the only way north and south, they didn't want anyone using it. So, except for them. So, the storyline goes something around the line, around the tale of this line was conceived and put forward as a proposal that they didn't intend to build. What they want to do is they wanted to put pressure on the government to say, hey, this is what we would have to do, so we need to use the other line because we need to get there too. We don't want to have to do this. This is the best we can come up with. And the government's like, yeah, we like that. Build it, please. We want that. Make it. You're committed now. You proposed it. You said you can do it. So a little miscommunication aspect there, and they got suckered into building the line they didn't want to make. And that's why this line exists today, and it's one of the most beautiful lines, I think, from what I understand, is considered one of the most beautiful lines in the England area. Entering a new tunnel here, I should probably make a note of. It's a very small tunnel. In fact, we aren't even near the station yet. That was a very, very small tunnel right before the station. So we are coming up on the station now, and I don't even know if I can get a name of that tunnel. It's such a small tunnel that I don't think I can get a name. Oh, no. The Moorcock Tunnel. That's what that is. The Moorcock Tunnel. I did have a name. The Moorcock Tunnel. Garsdale should be right around the curve coming up. No, there's a second tunnel here. That was not the Moorcock Tunnel. That was a Shotlock Tunnel. Now we're coming to the Moorcock Tunnel. That tut marker is clearly going to be for Garsdale. Another view from a viaduct there. Hide that for a second. And there's the tunnel. So we're going to hop back in the train as we enter the tunnel. That was the Moorcock. Here comes Garsdale. Time for more speed reading. So I called Garsdale a little early last time. I'm pretty sure this time it is Garsdale because there are two tunnels before it. And another view from the side here for a second as we cross the road. And now the sharp right. As we sweep around the viaduct, we approach Garsdale, the station which was formerly known as Hawes Junction. The line diverged here to head over to Hawes in North Yorkshire and is now part of ambitious plans by the Wensleydale Railway to reinstate and extend the line. Excellent. I have not seen Garsdale yet. It must be a little further ahead of the station itself. There's Garsdale. We finally see it. And this must be one of the views that Cell to Carlisle is known for. This view down over the bridge right here now being clouded by approaching vegetation. Thank you, approaching vegetation. So the views just speak for themselves here, I guess, in real life. I could see the Leeds to Carlisle branch or journey being a very nice journey to take in this situation. If I were to travel in the UK and I were to want to do something on a train, other than something far up north where there's no internet, therefore I wouldn't like it. Other than that, this would probably be the kind of thing I would be curious to see. This kind of journey in between two major destinations. Carlisle, of course, being the most major if you think of trains, and Leeds being a very, very busy thoroughfare for a number of trains. Outside of the many stations in London and places like York or Bristol, these are a little more quaint countryside kind of busy locations. So they come across to me as more, I don't know if the term vibrant is the term I want to use, but they come across as much nicer areas to go through. Maybe one day. High above the Valley Floor, we are now heading towards Rise Hill Tunnel. At 1,213 yards, it's the second longest tunnel on the route. Rise Hill Tunnel. You can see some more tutorial markers, any 30-mile-per-hour section coming up. There's Dent up ahead, actually. We know that we have a booked stop at Dent, so we are expecting to slow down here. So I've gone ahead and I've taken the throttle completely off. I am going to actually apply some brakes to get ourselves down to 30 in a moment. As you can see, it is 60 after a Dent. That doesn't bother us right now. So I'm down to 50 miles per hour at this time. I'm going to keep the decrease going. I'm just checking my brakes, make sure. Okay, driver, it is now time to slow down for the upcoming 30-mile-per-hour speed restriction at Dent, which is required because of the tight curve through the station. So Dent has a very tight curve. Exiting Rise Hill Tunnel. So I guess it's possible to derail yourself on a 60 mile per hour here. We're going to be stopping anyway, so getting 30 is just a way to prepare for our stop. There's our buzzer. We do have a booked wait, so that is our buzzer. No, that wasn't. I thought I saw a signal. Did I miss a signal? That's a train coming. Let's look at which one this is. No, we can't. Okay, driver, start braking now as we are approaching Dent, where we are scheduled for a brief stop. At an altitude of 1,150 feet, Dent is officially the highest station on the National Rail Network. Really? Who was that train I wanted to take a look at? I can't really see now. Doncaster to Moss End. There you go. 6M33 is who that is. So we started our braking. We're going to be able to make our stop. I just want to coast in at this time. Didn't want to stop quite yet. I want to get to the end of the platform. Notice the signage there as well. I got the wrong camera view. There's the note that it's the highest mainline station in England. Let's go ahead and stop right here now. This is good enough. Let's look at our train as we finish. So as we finish our booked wait here at the highest station in England, highest mainline station in England, we're going to just say have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is free. You'll get to see part 3 of this as soon as I have it up. Probably on Tuesday is what I'm going to go with, as usual. Thank you, driver. We are making a brief scheduled stop here at Dent before departing shortly to make the descent towards Settle. And Settle, of course, is not the end of the route. There's a little path to Settle Junction, which is used in some scenarios. But other than that, that's the end of the route in Settle. So we'll see you next time for that. That should be on Tuesday. And I'm Cyclone, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.